Here, for the third guide in the series, we will be covering my personal favorite, Gibraltar, the Bubble Brutta. With the recent Evo changes and digital threats being exclusive to shotguns and pistols, Gibraltar is strong if you like shotguns. It's one of the best controller Gibraltar players in the game. Gibraltar is a ton of fun because of his kit's high skill ceiling and versatile abilities. Bubble fighting, especially with shotguns, is one of the cool niche aspects of Apex that is spawned just from a single ability, the bubble. Gibraltar's bubble or dome shield, or pizza, whatever you want to call it, is a protective bubble shield that projects from a disc you throw. It has a diameter of 12 meters and lasts for 12 seconds. During this duration, players can move freely through the barrier while stopping all incoming projectiles and bullets. Gibraltar also revives allies faster while in this bubble, cutting their revive time from 6 to 4.5 seconds. Yes, you can also res fast in other people's bubbles. Gibraltar's passive gun shield is a shield that will pop up in front of him when he aims down sights. It has 50 HP and any damage will break it, causing it to regenerate back over 9 seconds. If any excess damage is inflicted when breaking this shield, it'll bleed over to Gibraltar himself. Lastly, his ultimate calls an airstrike on a marked position by throwing a smoke indicator. It lasts for 6 seconds and does 40 damage a hit and slows. You can see where these strikes are coming down by a red circle indicator on the ground.
This is Toxic here to tell you that this is the official Gibby guide. Now stop asking me for it, and it's pronounced Gibby.
The perks in the skill tree, the shotgun feels stronger overall compared to the 50 HP res one, as that one requires you to have a down player for it to be activated. You're usually playing shotgun as a secondary gun on Gibraltar as well, so this is ideal, especially if you have a disruptor peacekeeper, as you can keep shooting nukes if you get a knock.
Made me miss Gibby, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
Bro, you
dude.
saw that shit, dude?
The bubble fights back in the day, bro.
Holy fuck, I did like 1,000 damage there just with the PK. Bubble in here so you can take the door peek. Caustic sitting in a corner. You want to see more content like this that will help you get better and rank up. Subscribe and follow me on my socials so you don't miss our next video. Shotgun got reloaded again? Dude, the shotgun reload one is actually very nice. Nine. Bro, this guy's just tanking every bullet from me. 50 HP res 1 is nice, but again, requires a teammate to be knocked. And 30 HP isn't really doing too much to prevent you from getting re-knocked, as being able to defend your bubble and wiping the enemy team that you're fighting is a better way at preventing your team from getting wiped. Oh, look at that. Mid fucking res, I get the 50 health too. Okay, that's pretty nice. For his tier 3 or purple Evo, both options are good, but it feels like the longer bubble duration is better, as teammates can get a full Phoenix kit off after getting picked up with fast res. Baby bubble has a nice cooldown reduction, but the smaller bubbles sometimes isn't big enough to prevent major damage to your team especially when rotating in open areas or even crossing between buildings. On top of this, there are a lot of very strong bubble placements that you can't do because of the smaller bubble size, making it harder to breach buildings, walls, or climb up. Size matters. Movement lists best and phase try hard can. Okay. Now for weapon choice. On Gibraltar, any gun with some sort of range like marksman rifles and a shotgun are the way to go. For range, my usual go-to is the G7, especially this season with the repeater nerfs, as it feels better to play not only from farther ranges, but also mid-range compared to the 30-30. Sentinel right now is also a good option with everyone having lower armor levels in general. Plus, you're able to charge the Sentinel to be able to put out massive damage from longer ranges. As long as you hit your shots. Oh! Assault rifles are also really good on him, as I'll choose to take Hemlock, Nemesis, and Havoc because they're extremely strong right now. But Havoc specifically only with the turbo because of the way it interacts with the bubble. Even though Havoc is one of the strongest guns in the game right now, if you don't have a turbocharger specifically for Gibraltar, it can be a bit hard and inconsistent to do damage and weave the bubble in fights because of the shooting delay on the Havoc. For secondaries, shotguns on Gibraltar are ideal because of the way his bubble works. You're able to peek and dodge, weaving the bubble, leading to tons of outplay potential and damage mitigation, and also insane insta-kill potential if you're able to two-pump someone. Massive is ideal overall on average, but PK, especially with disruptors, is extremely when paired with the shotgun reload perk, as you're able to continuously shoot disruptor PK shots and not have to reload, as the PK reload animation or Peacekeeper reload animation is pretty long in comparison to the individual shells you can reload on the Mastiff. Mastiff overall feels better than the Peacekeeper just as a shotgun because of the fast pull-up time and the way the spread works in comparison to the Peacekeeper. On top of it, the slightly higher fire rate allows you to continuously shoot shotgun shots in bubble fights. As I said, again, the Peacekeeper can be and have potentially a bigger impact on fights, but that is only possible if you have disruptors. Towards endgame, people will have stronger armors, and with Conduit being very strong, the disruptors just add that extra oomph and higher level damage potential. Dead? You dead? Last one above.
Last one. Above.
70. Nice.
Oh, nice. Ooh.
Now for one of the most important parts of the guide, fighting. Gibraltar has a ton of utility in his kit that can be both used offensively and defensively. His bubble and its placement specifically can win or lose you fights and even games. Since Gibraltar has a larger hitbox, you want to play cover as much as possible. This is why it's really good to play longer range weapons like marksman rifles, as you can anchor and cover for your team very well while protecting your hitbox with cover. Pairing this with your arm shield, you have a ton of effective health, allowing you to outtrade almost everyone you're shooting at. This is especially important in bubble fights, as similarly to Revenant plus Revenant ult, you're at a health advantage in 1v1 situations. Yeah, that's what happens when you don't know how to play bubble chat. Speaking of fighting, here's an example how to play Gibraltar in one of my most recent ranked games in high rank. 3 of them. 57 and 40. Reloading. 63. As you can see here, I'm trying to build the scout to use, finding attachments for it, getting light ammo, all that. Blue shotgun bolt?
Oh,
Okay. I have no sight.
so many.
Jesus.
Oh, they're all on 3 men on Eddie.
72 on one of them.
Hey, boy.
Just have no sight. Nice. Thought you were just running over. Oh my god.
Where is he running?
70.
32 flash, dead. Here we opt to rotate to Hydro from Oasis on the edge of the map, as we just cleared everyone in Oasis out, and that means there probably isn't anyone behind us unless we get some really bad timing. And there also was a man scan beacon in Hydro, so we opted to go that way so that we could scan the beacon and see where the other people were at, as we were able to walk in zone here, and it didn't seem like there was too many people playing zone. And on top of it too, because with the way the ring is pulling, the zone looks like it's ending hydroponics, so we opt to go this way.
Maybe the only people here. Only peeps. Who's that?
They're rezzing out here. Do you guys want to look for this? It is res. Here we hear gunshots and look over for a possible third-party opportunity, but in reality, the team is actually trying to come up the ramp, running away from a different team. And when I notice or hear these guys on the ramp, luckily, I bubble so that I have my own cover and I can keep peeking the ramp where they're absolutely in the open, and I get a bunch of free shots, leading to them having to fall off the height and back off and run away, which ends up getting them killed.
Probably just wanna come back.
Yeah. They're zipping away to the east, Yeah, these guys are walking up on us over here.
They're just rotating.
Oh, okay. Even though it may just seem like a small thing, but here I look at the ground to bubble and then also comet, as looking straight down is the fastest way for the bubble to hit the ground and be deployed, which ends up saving me. And I possibly could have died if the bubble took longer to pop up, or if I tossed it forward or behind me, again leading to more travel time, leading it to be deployed later, possibly getting me killed. I make sure to call the bubble timing too, as bubble or protective dome is a very important cooldown, and so that Mandy and Fun can play a little bit more reserved and safe, so they don't take lethal damage to where bubble could have definitely saved them or help us get a reset.
Sure.
I'm grabbing it.
This team
I think these guys are gonna sip on me. Here.
Okay, I'm gonna you. Here is exactly why Gibby is so good at poking. As you can see, I have arm shield up, and even though I have a wingman, I have some good aim and hit my shots on the Pathfinder, but he barely trades any damage to me.
Make sure if you play Gibraltar, you gotta
Right in
use the
front of
Bad
me.
Dragon also.
Rezzing. On the beacon, Mandy.
Okay.
How does that thermite not hit him? He's queuing. 50 flush. Got him. You guys were getting res right next to me.
One shot.
He's running to you, Fun.
Triple body him.
Landing on your head, landing on your head. Oh, no, out here. On the roof. 100 on that guy. Okay, there's a solo. There's a solo on the low ground, like Elysium side.
That is a shoulder beat.
Oh, I'm one.
Oh, Jesus.
Thank you.
I have 6 bats. Give me bats.
Good to two. Zipping to our roof.
Give me bats today. 70 on the roof.
95. On Mandy.
One shooting me.
No, I'm coming. Here, because there are 2 people on Mandy's door and they conduit ulted, I bubbled backward a bit. I could have bubbled a little bit further back to have the perfect bubble here, but bubbling back the way I did was good enough. It cuts off the conduit ult so we can peek them as well as have cover, as well as not get stunned by the conduit ult when we're peeking them when they're trying to play the outside of our building. 140 on the roof.
I think he's dead. Yeah, he's
Oh,
dead.
okay, he died.
Oh wait. Devotion. Gold.
Top 3.
Above? Or is that you?
On me.
With you. Here, one of the last few teams tries to push our roof, and I come out to help Fun. They Gibraltar ult, and I Gibraltar ult back. And not only do I Gibraltar ult the roof because they're trying to take the roof, but I also Gibraltar ult part of the low ground, as it's one of the few spots looking at the zone and from just map knowledge that they can play in this zone, leading to them being forced low ground and us having the advantage with caustic ult and better angles and them being slow to taking damage, all of that. Okay.
First double day.
In terms of utility usage, you ideally want to save your bubble just in case a teammate goes down or you need to use it to cover a teammate, preventing them from dying. Also, being able to save your bubble for a rotation in an open area or in front of enemy line of sight can be pinnacle in allowing your team to win a game. Saving bubble for these kinds of scenarios and making sure you time and place it well is what really separates really good Gibraltars from noobs. On the flip side, when playing Gibraltar aggressively, bubbling up on teams and that specific bubble placement at the beginning or during fights will be the complete game changer. You can use his dome to cut off rooms, climb ups, the zone, practically anything. Gain an advantage and wipe out squads without exposing yourself and taking minimal damage. Bubble fighting is a very high skill ceiling, unique interaction on Gibraltar. It will separate good and bad Gibby players. The basic concept is weaving through the bubble to not only kill enemies, but mitigate damage as well. There are many ways to do this, and there isn't a right way to, but a good rule of thumb always is to weave in when you can shoot and weave out when you can't. There are a lot of mind games as well in these kinds of fights, especially at the higher level, where baiting out enemy shots, playing around when enemies are unable to shoot, and how much health people have are critical to success. In 1v1 situations, when poking with Gibraltar, Gibraltar has the advantage of having more effective health because of his gun shield and passive. This means you can be the first to peek when checking something, as you can burn gun shield to trade initial damage. This is especially good in 1v1s and team fighting and poking as well, as you'll be ahead as long as you're also hitting your shots. On top of this, in longer fights where your gun shield can recharge, you can play on lower total HP at times, as your gun shield is effectively an extra white armor, allowing you to cover and potentially knock players when they wouldn't think you would be able to. As for your ultimate in fights, you can use it both offensively and defensively. Offensively, you can use it to get players off of high ground, off of good positions, push buildings, or even just third party. Defensively, you can use it for similar scenarios, but also combine it with bubbles to prevent a push or guarantee res someone that's been knocked. One big thing to note here is that the smoke grenade throw animation or your ultimate ability and time for the bombs to start coming down is relatively long, around 4 to 5 seconds from when the ult indicator hits the ground. Yeah, those guys are not real. In Season 20, Gibraltar got a couple of nice buffs, the perks he was given, allowing him to do what he does a bit better. This, coupled with the Evo changes, have put Gibby in a better place, and in the past couple of years, the shotguns have a lot more value. At the highest level of Apex, ALGS, they'll definitely be tested out, but now will teeter on the line of viability as being some of the few Gibraltar players in the current meta with Caustic could be really strong, but more Gibbies mean he's not as valuable and more people will play to counter him. Characters such as Maggie and Crypto, as they directly affect and destroy his bubble. Otherwise, for pubs and ranked, Gibby is a strong support character with a major skill ceiling and major utility that can be used both offensively and defensively for your team. In other words, Gibby is definitely one of the best picks this season in Apex Legends. And if you want to know how to play one of the best legends in the game at a higher level, click on this video right here. Mahalos, brothers, and thank you all for watching. See you next time. Cheers.